Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day, rolling into the weekend. This week, I've had a great deal of joy looking at various names of God. Now, I've pulled these names out of the Old Testament, the Jewish scriptures, they're Christian scriptures as well, obviously, but I've looked specifically at these, and I want to underline the entire week by talking just a moment about the concept of a name. We use the word name in the 21st century Western world to basically identify someone. Sometimes we use it a little bit bigger. We can talk about someone who has a good name or has made a good name for themselves. And that concept is much more the older concept and a biblical concept of the word name. So in Hebrew, the word for name is Shem. In Greek, it's onoma. But name is the more than just the label. It's a statement of your character, your resume or CV. It's a statement of who you are and what you've done, and from that also what can be expected of you. And so when I've talked about these various names of God that are given in the Old Testament, where the actual name that God claimed upon himself is added to other words, I'm talking about the biblical concept of God's character, of what God has done. When we call on the name of God, we're not calling on a magic formula that's associated with the name. We're calling upon the character of God, who he is, his essence, what he does with his life. And so within the framework of that, I've looked at a number of different compound phrases where God's name is added to another word and a meaning is given, or a name for God is given. Now, I got to take one more time out here and tell you that that's also a very common thing to do in antiquity, to take one name and add it to another word and make a larger name. Native Americans used to do that a lot as well. They would take a name that would be a tool and a name that would be something else that's common and combine them together for a name, but that's another subject. All to say that what was done in antiquity is not so strange if you look across other cultures. So it's common to take one name and add it to a concept and make another name. We have, for example, last Sunday I taught on Obadiah, an Old Testament prophet, and that is Ovad, which comes from Eved, a servant, a little servant, and Yah, which is an abbreviation for the name of God. And so you do that all the time. Well, they did that with God's name as well. And the one I want to look at today is in Jeremiah 23, verse 6. There, the prophet Jeremiah is talking about the coming Messiah and says that the name associated with the coming Messiah will be God's name. We say Hashem instead of trying to pronounce God's name. God's name added to the word. It's in the form Siddiqu. Siddiqu, I think, is what it is. Yeah, it'd be a seed kenu. Hold on, I got to check this. I have a Hebrew Bible right here. Let's get this right. Yeah, Sidkenu. That's right. I had it right. How about that? I can remember grammar. I can tell you what that means. That means that Jehovah God is our, the nu at the end means our, Sidkenu, righteousness. So the name of the Messiah, the name of God, is that God is our righteousness. And that's a statement, that's a name of God, because God, his character, his mission, his work, his involvement, his deeds are substituting his own righteousness for ours. Because we're not righteous on our own. but we have a God who's righteous, and that's his name. And so it's a marvelous name going into the weekend. And of course, who doesn't want to try to be like their God? It should inspire us to righteousness, but it should also inspire us to seek God's righteousness for ourselves, because Hashem Tzedekenu, God is our righteousness. So that's something for you to chew on as we end this week in the names of God. And that's your video thought for the day.